Welcome back, everybody. Today I am going to be going through my top 10 most expensive original Game Boy games. Here they are. I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to flip them over one by one, maybe show a little bit of footage for you. So, guys, let's get started. Released in 1991 in North America, this is Roland's Curse. This is a action RPG for the original Game Boy. It's actually pretty cool, kind of in an overhead view, kind of like the Zelda games. You basically have to go through each little area and destroy monsters. And the story basically goes there's an evil king that was imprisoned in a forest, and many years later, when he was released, he unleashed a whole bunch of regenerating monsters into the world. So basically, all these monsters, after you kill them after a few seconds, they regenerate, and you have to go after him. There's also multiplayer in the game, which I thought was kind of cool. So currently, the game is loose, which is what pretty much all my original Game Boy games are. Um, Loose, it's about $26 to $30. It really hasn't changed much over in the probably in the last few years. Again, I think it's a pretty decent game. Released in 1991, this is Final Fantasy Adventure. It's really only a Final Fantasy game by name. This is actually part of the Mana series, the Secret of Mana series. You can actually play this currently in the Collection of Mana. It was the first of the, like I said, Mana games released, Secret of Mana and the Trials of Mana. Um, Again, not a battle action RPG. I don't think the game gets enough praise. It's got a pretty darn decent story, and it's pretty fun to play. Very action, like I said, action oriented, like the Mana games. Currently, the game is right at $30 for a loose copy. At number 8 is Batman, the animated series. This is a side scrolling action game based off the TV series with the same name. Currently, you can play Batman or Robin in the game. You can switch between the two characters. They have special abilities. Don't know much about it. I haven't really played the game very much. I've never been a big side scroller platformer game. But back, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 years ago when I went on vacation, I found this in another game store, and the guy gave me a pretty good deal since he knew I had my own game store. Currently, the game is right at between $30 and $40. So the next three games are all about $30 to $40. So I'm going to tell you exactly the price charting specific price for it. Gives you that way I could rate them. This one is like at $34.99 currently for this one. Next up at number 7 is Ghostbusters 2. This is actually a pretty cool little game. I wouldn't mind doing a video on this one at some point. I'm not real good at it, but I definitely enjoy it. It is an action game where you play the different Ghostbusters. You get to play two of them at a time, whereas one hits the monsters to stun him, and the other one uses a trap to collect them. After you collect so many ghosts, you go to the next level, and so on and so forth. Currently, the game again is $30 to $40, but on price charting, it is sitting at $37.85 for a loose copy. At number 6 is Buster Brothers, or another name it's known by is Pang. This is kind of an arcade action game where you collect various weapons from the bubbles to burst them. Pretty simple game. As you hit one big bubble, it divides into smaller ones. The key is just not to get hit by them. As you destroy all of them and they're completely gone, you go to the next level. Currently, the game is again $30 to $40 loose, but on price charting, loose copy is $38.49. At number 5 is a game that needs pretty much no introduction. This is Pokemon Red. One of the games that started it all. Honestly, I did not get into Pokemon until the Game Boy Advance games, which was Fire Red, which I put 300 to 400 hours into. This one, I played it, 8, 10 hours, but I never completed it. Like I said, it really wasn't until the Game Boy Advance games where I put a ton of time in, which I then transferred my Pokemon from the Game Boy Advance games to the DS games, which again I put in another probably 400 hours. But after that, I think it was Diamond and Pearl. Haven't really touched them since. Hopefully, some point I will get back to them. I've started collecting them, and I've got most uh, of the later ones, like for DS and 3DS. But you never know. Maybe I'll actually finally get back into it. Currently, the game is right at $40. This game, for the longest time, was between $25 and $30. But here lately, this year, or I should say last year, it started spiking again between 40 and 50. Right now, like I said, it is sitting for a loose copy right at $40. At number four is a first person RPG for the original Game Boy called Sword of Hope. Kind of think of in the vein of the Shadowgate game because it is kind of a first person view and you've got the arrow keys to move and you've got some other commands like look and such. Uh, Not played this game just a tiny bit. Again, I wouldn't mind playing this one because it is an RPG. Pretty simple. I love simplistic RPGs like this. Currently, the game is right at, for a loose copy, between $40 and $50. At number three is Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge. Unlike Castlevania The Adventure, the first in the series, this one is not sluggish as far as the controls, and there are sub weapons you can use as well. This gun would come highly recommended for me if you truly enjoy the Castlevania games. Currently, the game for a loose copy is sitting right at $55. At number two is another RPG that I picked up many, many years ago. This is Great Greed. I think back then, 18 years ago, I think I paid $25 for it. That is about what the game was going for. Currently, the game is between $80 and $100 now, just for a loose copy of this game. Game kind of looks like a Final Fantasy Legend game for the Game Boy original, but they say the um, battle system is more like Dragon Quest. Haven't played this game very much. It's another one of those games that I would love to at some point set down and actually complete. And finally, at number one is another generic RPG called Knight's Quest. This game has everything as dragons, evil lords, and even a kidnapped princess you have to rescue. Graphics actually aren't that bad. Once you get into combat, it is turn-based. One of the weird things I have to say about the game is once you get into combat, there's four different moves you can do, which are kind of weird. It's like seagull and swallow, and uh, definitely would recommend it to play it. It's kind of a neat little game. Um, right now, currently, for a loose copy of this game, it's between $85 and $120. So you there have it, guys. This is my top 10 most expensive original Game Boy games. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up original Game Boy and now move on to Game Boy Color. So now you can expect to see some Game Boy Color Let's Plays, maybe my top 10 favorite games, and maybe a top 10 most expensive games for the Game Boy Color. Again, guys, I do appreciate you watching.